A little late, but Blood Bowlers, we're here. Round two has been finished, and I have finally gotten all of the reports. So we're going to have a quick look at the league table that you can see. We're going to talk about it. We're going to have a look at the fixtures that you can see. Finished, and we're going to talk about it. So we're going to start with Tom's inaugural game this season versus myself. Better late than never versus the Crimson Killers. And I can't put any other way of saying it. But I've got decent hope for Tom this season. Probably the first time ever. And that's not to be mean. It's Tom's always played for fun. Tom's never cared about the results, and he has a good time. It's just as a consequence, he gets shafted almost every game. And yes, the result is 3-1, but that don't tell half the story, because it started out as a very, very, very tight affair. I genuinely struggled to break him down, because although he's playing Orcs this season, he was playing them in such a defensive way, especially against me being a highly aggressive team, mind you. It was awkward. He was barely following up. He was always standing off on me, forcing me to face check him and then him to punch me down in a way. And he opened up the Kaz account, which the Kaz was 3-1. And he niggling an injury, missed next game, one of my key linesmen actually. And at a numbers disadvantage, I was getting concerned, but I did manage to break through. It was his drive on the first half, and I managed to break through and score just about. And then I got a Kaz through claws because his armor is ridiculous. And I managed to make the Kaz 1-1, and that opened up a bit of a gap, and I managed to score twice in the first half. And then obviously coming into my half where I received, it started to ramp because there was also a few knockouts from my end that was really lucky. So I think at the second half he was down about 2 men to me. So I had 2-man advantage. And then I cast 2 more of his players through claws again, because one of my linesmen has claws as well as my big girl. And for as much as his strategy was sound, claws just did it, and I can't do nothing about that. Like, he did fantastic in the chance that he could. And honestly, it's just unlucky at that point. But provided he doesn't have that severe unluck again from dice rolling, I can honestly see him doing really, really well. And I would genuinely like to see him not be last. I would hope that he could probably get 5th this season, maybe higher. But let's have a look at the other game. Going from a very tight affair between 2 aggressive teams, we go to one of the most ridiculous games. And when I say ridiculous, I mean ridiculous. Because this was a game of 2 stunts. Sketchy Scramblers versus the Buckleberry Hot Pots ended in the same scoreline, 3-1. But whereas my game ended 3-1 in casualties, this one ended 6-1. As you would probably expect with stunties, and given the scoreline, I'm sure you can guess where the casualties lay. Unfortunately, the Sketchy Scramblers got made into Scrambled Sketchies. And yeah, they kind of ended up over there, and a bit over there, actually. Not great, but there's not much I can say about this game, because I haven't been told much, I'll be honest, because I was busy playing my own. But it seemed like a really fun game to watch. And that match is on YouTube, on this channel right here. If you do want to watch it, have a look yourself. The only problem is, the other game that was televised, which was the Fester and Freak Show versus the Steves, the recording software decided to not work. And it stopped itself recording after about 20 minutes, and they didn't notice. And I don't blame them for not noticing, because why would you? The Fester and Freak Show versus the Steves, a fantastically interesting match that ended in 1-1. And fantastically interesting in the fact that, again, like the first game, This was two big, brutey teams. One Nurgle, one Chosen. And I would genuinely say Liam is one of the best players in this league at the minute. Like, just genuine skill-wise. And for someone who ain't played a lot, I think that's a genuine compliment. And Lewis being a newer returning player, I'll say, because he has played before, but it's been a while. And he was new when he played, and obviously he's got to basically learn the basics again. So to hold Liam to a 1-1 draw, I would say is a genuine accomplishment. It's pretty damn good. And he gave me a decent run for my money in the first fixtures, which did end only 2-0. It wasn't a blowout. So I think Lewis might be a bit of a surprise package this season, and I think it's going to depend on players around him, the likes of Tom, Sam, Stu. And I think those four all have a genuine chance of doing something interesting. And speaking of Stu, he had his week off, so obviously he had no fixture to play this week, but he will be having a fixture to play in the round 3 of fixtures, which we'll have a look in a minute. So looking at the table now, bearing in mind, Stuart and Tom have only played 1 game each, so their results are going to be slightly skewed. I think once we get to the halfway point of the season, you're going to start to see a real trend when everyone's on the same games played. But in first place is my team, the Crimson Killers, with 2 played, 2 wins, touchdown difference of 4, casualties 4, and 17 league points, with picking up those bonuses where they can. In second is Gavin's Buckleberry Hot Pots with 1 win, 1 draw, 2 touchdown difference, 8 casualties. That was that fantastic result here. 13 league points. In third is the Steves, which is Liam's team, with 1 win, 1 draw as well. -1 touchdown difference, 4 casualties, and 13 points. And this isn't a slight against any of the other teams. I think that's about where the skill split is in the league. And this is a mixture of either people who've played a lot or just seem to have good grasp of the game versus other people that are either just vibing and having fun or testing new teams or a mixture of some other reasons. I think the bottom 4 is going to probably be a bit more interesting to watch, honestly. But currently in 4th place is Lewis with 1 draw, 1 loss, -2 touchdown difference, 3 cas and only 4 league points. The Sketchy Scramblers in 5th, which is 2 losses, -4 touchdown difference, and 6 casualties with 4 points as well. Only touchdown difference is the first divider next to points and then casualties. So you'll notice that teams on the same points will be split by touchdown difference first. In 6th is the Silverleaf Sentinels, which have 1 draw. That's it. They've only played 1 game. 0 touchdown difference, 1 cas, and 3 points. And then in last, playing their first game this week, is Tom's Better Late Than Nevers with 1 loss, -2 touchdown difference, 1 cas, and 1 point. But both of those are going to be playing next week, in the week fixture we're about to see. And those fixtures are as follows. The Silverleaf Sentinels versus the Sketchy Scramblers. That is Stuart versus Sam. Next is the Steves versus the Better Late Than Nevers, which is Liam versus Tom. And finally, the Buckleberry Hot Pots versus the Festering Freak Show, which is Gavin versus Lewis, leaving me with the week off. So I might be able to do some investigative journalism by rocking around the tables and asking those important questions, and maybe have better things to say on this here microphone. Well, who's to say? Interesting enough. And I think we should go and have a look at some league stats. So, I'm only going to mention the top 5 in each category, but I will scroll so you can see them all as you please. In first place is Martin of the Steves with 3 touchdowns scored. In second is Ashley of the Crimson Killers with 1 touchdown scored. In third is Cannon and Fodder 1 of the Sketchy Scramblers with 1. Grell of the Steves with 1. And in 5th is Elmo Putney of the Buckleberry Hot Pots with 1. And we currently have, if I scroll just there so you can see, 16 total touchdown scorers. And don't mind the kitty cats behind. Moving on to the completions, we only have 3, which, starting at first place, is Big Heap of the Buckleberry Hot Pots with 3. Derwin Quicksilver of the Silverleaf Sentinels with 2. Gag Giant of the Sketchy Scramblers with 1. Moving on to the casualties, there are 20 casualty inflictors so far. I'll just read the top 5. So starting with Austin of the Steves with 2. Carol of the Steves with 2. Gag Giant of the Sketchy Scramblers with 2. Norman Bibble of the Sketchy Scramblers with 2. Pint Pot of the Buckleberry Hot Pots with 2. Quite a lot with 2, actually. I'm pleasantly surprised. So I'm just going to have a little scroll here just so you guys can see. And if you see your player, please let it know in the comments. If you have made a fan favorite and you wish to support them, say it in the comments. Because it is important, apparently. Going back to the league table and back to the fixtures so you can just see and remind yourself, those are the fixtures. They are to be played on the 9th of July. And again, the second I get the results in, I will make this video, as I literally only got the results for the one game from last week's fixtures about an hour ago. So I made the pictures as quick as I can. So, take care, everybody. Good luck.